So
Yes.
speaking of better movies again this year, and couple of
Yeah.
beers, I wish I took a couple of beers before what I
Yeah.
thought would have been one of the best movies of 2018.
I was hyped for this as well.
Now
Yeah.
we have to talk about the Predator, boy. Now
Yeah.
before we get into what we thought about it, Ricardo, just for me, because I have some stuff to say. Just for me, please. Just want to run through however you
The franchise.
can about what the movie is about. Just for me, just for me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Right. So, I see. What multiple things this movie about? I should say. Not really one thing at all. All right. So basically, story starts where you have like a bunch of scientists who discover they have a predator body for some reason,
Yeah.
and the science team was well being led by Philip Still and K. Brown.
Yep.
Um, and then you have, for some reason, this kid got access to predator tech.
Yeah.
This kid who has autism, or not Asperger's syndrome, but autism, but maybe he's a savant, so he could like figure shit out because they established that he could set the chess pieces. Because look how he has great memory, this photographic Rain Man memory, right?
Yes.
And then he activates the predator helmet, and I think that call a ship, and they had to solve this problem. And then you have a bunch of ex-vets who suffering from PTSD, so all of them mental in their own way. And I forget how they was passing through the tongue. I think they were just on prisoner transport. They were supposed to go to prison, I think.
Yeah, it was transport. Yeah.
Right. And then what else happened?
Well, you forgot the main character who's Quinn, right? He is played by the same dude who played the villain in one of our favorite movies of last year, Logan, right? And right, so he's he actually ended up stumbling upon the Predator helmet and stuff like that. He just kind of pillboxed it because he didn't want the government to get a hold of it, right? Right. So he ends up in the same sort of transport as the other PTSD suffering soldiers, basically, because they just wanted to question him and kind of pretty much interrogate him there, because they know that he knows something about that predator attack and whatnot.
Yeah, he counted the predator, right. So they wanted to, Oliver Munn came in as a scientist, the new scientist, but still, K. Brown is kind of a dick.
Oh, kind of a dick.
Yeah, he's a complete dick. Although I'll say he straight up saved this movie, for me.
He does that. He was having fun. You could see that. That was having fun.
Right.
But continue.
Right. And so what happened after, boy? That's the problem with the movie. The movie just had to go all over the place now.
Well, basically, just not to spoil too much, right? So what happens is that the predator that the scientists have, pretty much testing out, suddenly wakes up and he attacks nearly everyone except for Olivia. Olivia escapes and she ends up kind of conveniently running into the ragtag group of soldiers. And it's now for them to try to track this predator, but at the same time now, because the autistic boy, who just so happens to be Quinn's son, activates the helmet, these other bigger, badder predators who were tracking down that predator to begin with from the beginning.
Yeah, the Halloween costume or something.
Yeah, because there's a Halloween. Because in the background, it's Halloween basically, so he puts it on as his Halloween mask basically, right? So yeah, because he kind of unwillingly activates the helmet, the bigger, badder predators who was hunting down the predator in the beginning of the movie come down to Earth, and they send one out who is like this big, uber, ultra, mega predator, to hunt down that one predator, and shenanigans ensue, and that's all we have to say, right? So allow me to begin this review, right? So so before going into the Predator, I recapped the first two Predator movies. I skipped AVP and AVP Requiem because I watched those for last year when we talked about Alien Covenant. We both agreed that AVP is a dumb movie, but for me it's like one of those Saturday night movies you watch when you have nothing to do, right? It's dumb fun. Requiem, on the other hand, is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I hate that movie. That movie sucks, right? But and then I also took in Predators, right, which came out in 2010. Decent as well, but here's the thing. Here's what made me laugh, right? Like, yes, they was trying to harken back to the 1987 film that started all, of course, the iconic one. I still say is one of the best action movies ever made. Of course, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura, Bill Duke, Carl Weathers, Shane Black,
Yeah.
isn't it? I forgot that honestly. Um, but yeah, but Predators was really harkening back to that. Even right down to Adrian Brody trying to be Arnold. Even right down to where he says, "Come on, do it, kill me, come on, do it." I'm like, bruh, you win an Oscar for the pianist, Dread. You better than this. You are better than this, Dread. But what had me laughing in the end of the movie, Dread, is the last line where Adrian says, "Now let's find a way to get the fuck off this planet."
Right.
And this movie does not follow up from that from Predators though. So I like
I told you.
so
So
they just so Adrian and the girl who survived, well, suck salt. I mean,
then could
we don't know how they get off. If they ever get off at all, I don't know. Well, nobody cares, right?
exactly.
Because it's a Predator movie, right? And this to me has always been the problem with the franchise as a whole. Because to see this right now, Predator is one of the most inconsistent franchises in cinematic history.
Right.
Starts off strong. Then you have one which was supposed to be 10 years later, and they don't really do much
Right.
in terms of world building except, oh, well, there's a new Predator, and this so happens to be in LA in 1997, sorry, where the movie was based. I'll talk about that 97 thing in a bit, right? And is this insane over the top drug war with, Hispanics and Jamaicans with a bunch of firepower just blast each other like it's World War II. And the Predator just find it also convenient to come at that one point in that one area to just wipe people out because he's a Predator, right? And this to me was always the big issue with the series itself. Like, yes, the first one is a great action movie, right? Treat it as an action movie and you'll love it, right? But because of your introduction film, because the intro film, you could let things like, okay, why the Predator come down at this time for? You had this girl, well, the girl who survived, the villager, who say that there was a point in time where, a Predator will come and kill, the male warriors, or whatever it is in the group. But they never really say why. Like, this kind of left things in the air now, in mystery now.
But so this movie kind of addresses that in a sense where they keep making the joke. This joke comes up ever so often. Well, it's not really a predator; it's just a hunter.
Yeah. That is a Shane Black. To me, I was like, that's a Shane Black line.
But
That's a Shane
that's
Black
kind
line.
of the point. The original predator didn't know Arnold and was going to show up. The original predator was kind of a wimp now. He's just like he's more like a shitty trophy hunter now.
Yeah, but like he just shows up there because what? He expecting people to be there with guns to try to
No,
attack him or what? Like what?
right.
Yeah, that's the name of the movie. Right? Like don't get me wrong. Like I said, the first one is greater, but it's why like when you really sit down and ask yourself, but why though, and how? These two
Yeah.
questions, why and how.
But
That's when it starts to unravel. And then like for me, when I rewatched the first Predator, that's when I realized this thing is just a pitch movie now. Like, okay, it's in the 80s and around the time you had slasher flicks, so let's flip it
it
on
was
it.
Arnold.
Let's have these badasses now in the jungle with guns, right? And
Yeah.
they're scared because there's this creature that hunting them down. They don't know what it is. Great, right? Great as a pitch. But like when you're going deep and you ask yourself, but so why the alien come to Guatemala? Why come in the
Right. No.
forest?
Right.
Why?
Let me tell you
That's when it
something.
starts to unravel. You're like, this makes no sense now.
Exactly. Let's be clear about something. No one gives a shit about Predator.
That's the
In
that's the
terms of
that's the argument. Nobody cares.
except for the fact that Arnold was in it.
Yes.
That's itself.
Yeah.
As you
I
Arnold
mean,
was
Jesse
there.
Ventura,
And
Bill Duke, Carl Weathers, whatever. The movie is Arnold. Arnold
Arnold,
is
yeah.
the vehicle that drives this movie.
People started was when in the 90s. Remember, everything in the 90s was all grim dark. So when Predator 2 revealed the fact that aliens is officially part of the franchise because they saw the alien queen in the
Well,
thing,
the alien
like,
skull.
oh,
Yeah.
right? I was like, oh shit, aliens in
Yeah.
this.
Oh my God.
So I mean,
Wow.
and then they went and make the video games and the comics and all the extra bullshit in it. Which, by the way, the shooter for it is very good.
It is, of
Um,
course. Yeah.
But that's it. Nobody cares. Nobody care about the world building a Predator. Nobody gonna sit down and make that work or try to have that make sense. So it's not bullshit.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't really find you will take it worse than Terminator.
Yeah. That's the thing. Well, just good thing you bring up Terminator, right? Because I would say like even Terminator, right? Even Alien had better world building. Like let's use Alien for example, right?
Alien is a mess, but Alien at least have some forethought to it.
Yeah. But anyway,
Right.
but what I like with the first Alien, for example, which ironically, for some reason, I just felt like watching it before my birthday. I rewatched 1 and 2 now, right? It had nothing to do with Predator coming out. But first one was, alright, okay, mysterious ship in isolated planet. There's eggs there, there's some skeleton there. We don't know where the eggs come from, but one of the eggs hatch and yada yada yada, face hugger, all that stuff, right? So we saw what creates the alien. Like, how does the alien inseminate, humans? That's what it was. Aliens went a little bit deeper and just answer one question: where them eggs come from? Hey, there's a queen. Okay, question done. Alien 3, well, I don't know what question they asked. Just how do we continue this franchise and just kind of fuck things up, right? Then you had Prometheus, which kind of went back and tried to answer, okay, where did these xenomorphs come from? And then Alien covered say, well, this is how we had more xenomorphs because Michael Fassbender was fascinated with xenomorphs and decided to make more because movie, right? That was it. Okay, whatever, right? With Predator, you could have just went a little bit deeper to ask, okay, why do they come to Earth? Why do they target men with guns? Why they never target women with guns? Because remember in part 2, the Latina chick who had a gun, the Predator was about to kill her, and then he looked and he did the infrared thing and realized she was pregnant and let her go. They never really explain why. Why did they attack women? Now, AVP went a little bit deeper because I like the little bit of world building they did, a little bit where they say, okay, well, it's a kind of tribal thing. You have to prove their worth if they want to rise in the ranks. Say as well, we bring these alien eggs, them hatch, hunt them down, whoever survive, he gonna be on top. Simple. I like that. And in Predators, they kind of hint to the fact that, okay, there's this war going on between the new and the old one. That's what Lawrence Fishburne character say. But he and all was like, I don't know why. I don't know.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind that you do.
And I was like, okay, whatever. All right, new tracking old, okay. And I like the fact that you saw an old Predator. It looked just like the one from the first movie, which was great.
Yeah.
I like how the new Predator come and kill him. That was unfortunate, but I like that. So it's like you don't need too much explanation into it, but just do a little bit of world building here. With the Predator here, with this movie here, I thought they would have done that. Kind of explain, kind of touch on certain things, like why in 2018 we have in this movie here for one thing, and for the most part, they fail miserably. And not just talk about world building, but just talk everything in general. Boy, I was immensely disappointed by this. I was baffled actually at how bad this was. And here's the thing, a lot of reviewers will say, but it doesn't take itself seriously. So when it gets all goofy and silly, it's just like whatever, just have fun. It's a fun movie, but dog, I could have fun watching a movie which makes sense.
Yeah.
It starts off promising enough, but then it just goes absolutely ape shit, boy. It's like everything that they do, it just goes nowhere.
I am in the latter camp of that. I went to have fun, and that was pretty much it. And it had a lot of like little jokes on callbacks, but this was kind of real lazy though. As
That's
I say,
the problem. Lazy. That's you hit the nail in the head. Lazy. But continue. Go on.
Basically, this was what I call, it was basically Predator Genesis, in my opinion.
I love it. You want to reboot, but you do it in like the laziest way you could think of.
So, but that was the problem, is that you had a bunch of decent ideas, like 5 or 6 great ideas, and none of them flesh out properly.
Yeah, and then you decide to put all them ideas in a blender, and
in one thing.
Instead of
and again, much
spreading
like
them
with
out
Genesis,
into different movies, basically. That's what it should have done.
No, but my attitude is, what you do is you basically put that shit on Netflix, 13 hours, and have a series.
A Predator series, though. You're onto something. That actually would have worked a lot better.
No, exactly. You have space and room to do all these interesting ideas, flesh them out, make it work, and you don't need those. Look, to me, Netflix, I wouldn't put Netflix on the level of a theater anymore. But to me, you could start putting good shit on Netflix now, in my opinion. So whatever, like same thing with Terminator Genesis. Terminator Genesis would have been good if they fleshed that shit out for 13 hours or so, instead of trying to fit all of that in 2 hours. Same problem with this movie.
Yeah, you're right. Because this movie clocks, and I think it's like about an hour and 45 minutes, and you could tell they just stuff so much into this movie, and like there's barely even enough room for anything to breathe. Though, just things happen, scenes happen, and you're just like, all right, okay, this thing happened. All right, this thing happened. Why? How? What? How this lead to the next scene? I don't understand. It just feels like a fever dream of just Predator pitches and concepts in one movie.
Yeah, on top of that, you get the feeling that the studio just hacked this to death now.
Oh,
so it feel like studio interference as well, because like that last scene didn't fit with anything.
No.
Yeah.
And ironically, you know what? When I saw that ending, that ending gave me so angry. 'Cause I was just bewildered by what I saw. I
Yeah, it's tripping.
it felt like Independence Day
It's
resurgence all over again. Like how they end that
right,
movie, it
exactly.
felt just like that, just like that. Something so pointless, but it's like, oh, we have to do some sequel beating now. Here we go,
Yeah,
haha, there you go.
yeah, that's no dumb.
Pitiful, hated that. But
Yeah.
let me see if I could take up some good, right? Uh um, the acting. Well, some of the actors were decent. Trevante Rhodes, he had great presence.
Right,
Um,
he's good.
yeah. Sterling K. Brown, yes, he was an
Yeah,
asshole. Yes, his purpose in the
yeah,
movie was just to be an asshole and just spout,
yeah.
threatening
Awesome.
stuff, right? And just be, asshole. Not really so much evil, but just that. But you could tell the man had fun with the movie. You could tell that. Keegan Michael
Right.
Key, I was on the fence
He was
with
good.
him,
Yeah, I
but
did. I hate him. He was
yeah, I was on the fence with him, but there was certain moments where I was like, all right, I kind of get what he get at. Often, sometimes it was just like he just annoying to me. Thomas Jane didn't care for his character at all. They tried to
yeah,
do this
he was okay,
buddy thing with him and Keegan, didn't work for me. The last scene with them together, I was like, okay, I know they play this off for joke for kicks, but nah, Jen,
they don't. Yeah.
you're not serious. You're yours. Nah. Uh,
Yeah.
Olivia Munn.
Eh,
Uh,
meh.
Man, that's the thing. Didn't hate
Yeah,
any
meh. Yeah.
movie. Didn't love any movie at all. There's this cringeworthy line where she says, "You're a beautiful motherfucker." I was like, okay, I know you're
Right.
trying to reference you're one ugly motherfucker, but
Ugly motherfucker.
it just
Yeah.
did not work
Yeah.
at all, though. Boyd Holbrook, who plays Quinn, pretty bland, pretty forgettable as a hero to me. He was just there. He was just the blonde hero who just does things. But
Right.
you had me at PO
I thought he was
boxing.
gonna have Thomas Jane as the lead. I was like, yeah, Thomas Jane is like is probably the best actor there. So
Yes, yes.
um I thought he was gonna be the lead. It's like, no, he was just this kind of side character because like how you can have a man who's the big star the expanse something
Yeah,
and just don't do
exactly.
anything. Oh,
Yeah, but I don't
okay.
know. They had me at the man PO boxing, the predator, the predator stuff that he salvaged. They had me at that moment. They even had me at him swallowing that little device thing, the little cloaking device thing that he got from the predator. They had me at that shit. I was like, okay, but this is
Yeah,
how they try to rope in Jacob Tremblay's character, the little kid. And okay,
yeah,
I was like, all right, didn't really care for the kid. They try to give him some reason to care with this one scene with these two bland, annoying ass bullies had to come. Hey, look, it's
right,
Asperger's. I
right,
hated
right.
them, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
other than that, though, so the scene where this going into minor spoilers here. So the scene where he gets the mask and he do it, they had a little VR experience. So I'm assuming this is how the mega predator is formed. Apparently, I'm assuming this is what it was because they do this little lobotomy thing. They inject something in the predator head, and that's how he become the way it is. I don't
right.
know, but there's a scene there
Right, it
where,
was,
but
right, just talking about something with human DNA or something like that. They had to adapt them, but make them
right,
stronger. This is
and it's based off
right,
of yeah, like human kills. So like they inject
right.
human DNA so they could adapt or something. What?
Because it's to do with climate change or something like that. It was dumb. I hated it.
It makes no sense. But anyway, so is the scene
Well,
where
like
where the kid is he has the mask on, he do the trick or treat stuff, and this one fella on the back of the house he throws something at him, and then one of the where you just see this gun come out from the mask and literally decimates the guy now. And no
yeah, yeah,
remorse, no nothing, no reaction from the boy. It's just like wherever he runs, the cops chasing him because it's like, oh well, there's an explosion over the corner, so. But like no remorse to, and that's one thing that kind of threw me off. Like characters like do things like they shoot people and all that kind of stuff, but you don't see their reaction to it. Like in the first Predator, you understand because the soldiers are doing stuff as a job, right? And then later on you realize, wait, but this this you're not giving me the full details, Carl. With us, what going on here? You know what I mean? So, but in this one, it's just like
right.
they do things, but there's like no kind of like moral reason for it. It's just they do it because they have to. Um, Even right down to Olivia Munn try first and foremost, like X-Men Apocalypse aside, Olivia Munn, stop trying to be a action hero now. You're not. You running with this gun and then you jumping on top of the bus and you holding onto the bus and then near the end when she was trying to
Right.
stop the predators, like no, you're not an action hero. Stop it, right? Um, I like that they try to connect certain like connect to the first two films. Once again, like with Predator 2 and Predators, they always have to go back to what happened in 1987. Back in 1987, this happened. Back in 1987,
Too much
we
references.
know, we know, we know. But one thing I like though is that they get Gary Busey, son Jake Busey, to play the son of
Right.
Gary Busey's character from
Right.
Predator 2. I thought that was
Okay, okay.
cool.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't really do much of them, but that's cool. Now this
Yeah.
leads
I
me.
didn't notice. I forget he was his son.
Yeah. At first, like, nah, you too young to be Gary. But when he said Keys, I was like, all right, because we had Peter
Right.
Keys
Nice.
in the second one. But yes,
Right.
the moment that I was like a blink and you miss it moment. But I was like, this is evidence of how the studio just don't care about this franchise anymore. Remember the part where Olivia Munn was looking at the tablet and you see the picture from something that happened in '87, right?
Right.
And she flip again and you see something from 1990.
Okay.
The movie came out in 1990. It was set in 1997. Are you telling me that
Right.
20th Century Fox couldn't
And they
remember and
messed up. They
say,
messed up the
oh,
timeline,
wait, it was set in 1997 and 1990?
yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And nobody pick up on
Okay.
that shit.
Well,
Wow.
that doesn't think of. Yeah.
That is cinema sins level badass. You
Right.
don't as the
Yeah.
first thing they're
Exactly.
gonna pick up on. Or maybe Honest Trailers. Oh, and by the way, Honest Trailers put out a brilliant trailer for for Predator the original one. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. But
Yeah.
anyway. So but the biggest problem in the movie though is just the story, how it's told. Not so much that they had six ideas that they crammed into one though. But just scenes flow into each other and it's just like no weight, no tension. Characters just they do something, then they there. There's even one scene where I see Keegan character get a news helicopter and they never say where he got the
Yeah.
helicopter from. They never show
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The editing is choppy. There's one scene where Sterling K. Brown's character confronts the boy. Next shot is him and the boy walking to a helicopter. You could have had a great scene with him trying to intimidate the boy. Just cut that out
Yeah.
together. Um, some of the CG was kind of spotty.
All that's
Yeah,
interference.
yeah.
So,
You could tell they cut stuff up, and it just ruined the film so much. Way,
yeah.
the CG, good for the most part, but some kind of uninspired creature designs. Right out to the Ultra Predator, like, bruh, that's the best you could have get with him. And then they do some stuff with that with that Predator that made no sense. Like you tell me, oh, now he grabs humans and eats their heads now. I've never seen that before in the history of Predators. Like the part where he grabbed the guy and he was in the tree and I see him like set up like swallow the guy head and like blood was gushing out. I like, but
Right.
Predators don't do that though. Like, come on, man, Jen.
Yeah.
The Predator dogs, which here's the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't mind them in Predators. I get because Adrian Brody, Mr. Exposition Man, had to come and say, well, send the dogs out, sift out
Yeah.
the prey, and then you go after them. Makes sense. Okay, whatever. The Predator dogs come back. But dog, you're telling me, right, that one of them they had to kind of make one of them team now. So it's like, oh, go fetch. Here, boy, go fetch. What? What was that?
Right.
But last thing,
Yeah. Wait.
oh yes, and cinematography is done by Larry Fung of all people. I know he
Okay.
worked on like stuff with Zack Snyder and stuff like that. I felt that it was just way too uninspired in my opinion. Like there was like especially like in the third act, for example, a lot of night shots. They could tell they do that so they could just kind of hide certain CG shots that wouldn't look good if it was like done in broad light. But I felt that was like real lazy in my opinion. Some of the Dead Sea, just some of the CG itself just didn't look good at all in my opinion. The choice of
Yeah.
music, well, it's done. The score is done by Henry Jackman. Once again, you have to do these callbacks to the old score that was done for the first movie, which to me still remains one of the best tense filled sound musical scores ever in my opinion, right? But the callbacks once again, just like with Predators, it wasn't too obnoxious like okay, Predators it wasn't obnoxious. In Predator 2 it wasn't obnoxious, but in this one it was just way too obnoxious way. So you tell me every time Sterling character show up, every time you see a helicopter, you have to hear that dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun. Like God, it's a helicopter flying. Come on,
Yeah.
man. Stop being lazy, you know. And last things I also say, the writing in this is so abundantly lazy, Trent. And I was wondering, because I was like, Shane Black, I know you know. You was in the first movie. I know he was there to
Yeah.
punch up the script, with the dialogue. All right, cool, great. And we know you're good there. You wrote the script for Lethal Weapon. You wrote the script for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. You directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Iron Man 3. Both of us defend that movie, right? Here, I don't know. It just felt like there was a moment where, and I know he co-wrote with another guy, but it just felt like there was a moment where it's like, you know what, this ain't making no sense, but the studio don't even seem to care anyway. So let me just defecate over the rest of the script, just not care
Yeah.
about anything else, and just play it off like, well, it's just me having fun, and it's just my dark humor. It's just it's me being meta, because the Predator series, you're not even supposed to think about the story, right? And that's why I
Yeah.
brought up, the fact about the first movie, when you start to unravel the whys and the hows. That's when it doesn't make any sense. That's the excuse you
Right.
could make, right? That, oh, well, the first one didn't really make that much sense anyway. At the end of the day, it's just a monster from space hunting down people. That's the point, right? But no, man. At this point in shit, like at this point in the franchise itself, where the franchise has not really developed at all well enough, right? This was your chance where you could have done something better. But no, not only do you using the same beats from before, ragtag soldiers being hunted down, the same scientist stuff from Predator 2, the dogs from
Right.
Predators and all that kind of stuff. The war going on, so you have the bigger Predator hunting the smaller ones from Predators. No, you just take that
Right.
and some other stuff, and don't even get me on the ending, eh? Don't even get me on that ending, Dread.
Yeah. I know.
And
Yeah.
just give us this lazy ass script and tell it, and you want to tell me, oh, but it's just supposed to be a comedy, man. It's supposed to be like,
Right.
self-referential stuff. No, this is one of the laziest scripts I've ever seen. I don't want to say it's Shane's fault, but I feel it was pressure from the studio. Either
Right.
that and slash, or maybe he still haven't gotten over what happened with Iron Man 3. Maybe it's that. I
Well,
don't know. I don't know.
listen. He even if the studio didn't interfere, this would still be a mess.
Yeah,
So let's be clear about that. Right?
yeah,
It's
and
just the studio interfered, but
yeah, and
he still would have this.
yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
even want to bring up, of course, the controversy with Olivia Munn, and then that one guy in that one
Yeah. Well,
scene. Not even
I
gonna
get
bring up,
into
because
that.
that pales in
Yeah.
comparison to the final product here.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I came out of this thing like in shock by it.
Yeah. I know.
This reminded me of
Yes,
how I
bro.
felt like when I watched Independence Day Resurgence. I
Yeah,
come
kind of a
out
little bit. Yeah.
and I was just baffled by
Right.
how bad this movie was, shit. And I
Yeah,
know
the
some
fuck is
people will
something.
say, but I had fun. It was funny. It was entertaining, Going drunk and I like it. But dude, this is a Predator movie. You could have still be
Yeah.
funny, still have your referential stuff like that, but still stay true to what Predator was
That's
about.
right.
And like what I was hinting at with what I was saying before, try to do a little bit more world building. Try to add a little bit more common sense to I was gonna say genre, but to the franchise itself. Just add a little bit more depth in it, just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But they couldn't even do that shit. I sorry, but you have any last words before I get to rating? Just anything you want to say? I just need to cool off. But
Yeah.
anything else you have to say?
I mean, yeah, I don't think this raped my childhood or anything like that. This was just a big disappointing mess. And as I said before, I basically call it Predator Genesis, as in you could have fixed this by having a different format,
Yeah.
right? To me, a 13-episode run might have worked, and you could flesh out these ideas better. It would have worked, and you could have big stars in it. Like, you don't need to have something in theaters. You could put it on Netflix. Netflix is not beneath theaters anymore, right? Fucking Stranger Things on Netflix, and it's like the biggest thing on the planet, right?
I know, right? For
So
some reason, but continue.
you could have fleshed this out and have it work, a longer format run. I would have worked in my opinion.
Yeah.
As it is, let's forget it. I'm gonna give him a rating, which
Give
is
it.
a straight CC8, just a waste of time. Not a low CC8, but middling CC8, middling to low CC8. It's kind of a general waste of time in my opinion. I had fun with it sometimes, had its moments. Still, in K-Bong was funny.
Yeah, he
But
was.
that's about
He
it.
was.
Everything else was just kind of bullshit and just again, it just felt like a waste of my time. That's about
Yeah,
it.
but for me, boy, this is living proof, Dre. Like I said before, Predator is one of the most inconsistent franchises in cinematic history. You've had so
Right.
many chances to do something different. There's not even so much about doing something different, like with Predator 2, or trying to harken back to the essence and the roots, like with Predators. but just
Right.
expanding on things, making things a little bit more clear, making us actually care, not really care about the Predator, but giving us a reason why we should give a shit why we have a Predator movie in 2018. And this movie could have done it. It had, it had Shane Black and this. I don't want to say a strong cast, but it had a solid enough cast and a smart enough writer to pull this off. But even he and all were just like, I don't even care anymore. I don't want to blame everything on him, boy, but I know he have much to play. He have much to do with the reason why this movie feels shit. And I'm sorry. Like I was thinking about this thing, I was like, maybe I could give this a blind. Maybe I could give this like a 2.5. See it if you want to. But nah, boy. This to me is one of the biggest disappointments of 2018. Shit. I had to give it what it is. Shit. 2 out of 5. I want my money back. Shit.
Yeah.
This is hands
Yeah, I
down
see.
one of the worst movies of 2018. I don't want to say that, but I had no choice. But this disappoint me in a way I did not expect. And not like I love the franchise and it's like it reached my childhood. It's just that you had a chance to do something with the franchise and you couldn't even
Yeah.
do that. You couldn't even do that. How come every sequel try to do something, but they just try to do something a little bit different compared to the original, and it just fails? Well, with the exception of Predators, right? But like I'll say,
No, I
last thing
mean,
I'll say is because once again with the first movie, it's a pitch. What if? But then when you ask the whys and the hows, that's when it unravels. But it's like, dude, it don't even matter, Dread. It's about Arnold Schwarzenegger going up against a predator in the bush. That's it. That's the movie. Don't think about it and
right.
you'll have fun. That's the problem. From the beginning, from the genesis. And this is the end result right here. To me, I see this as the very end of the franchise altogether. It's a shame. But it's Hollywood and it's 20th Century Fox, so I have a feeling like maybe next few years they might try to reboot this thing or do another sequel, whatever. But I, for one,
Well, I
not
have no
excited
idea.
for this for any movie following this at all, Dre. Sorry. This is hands on one of the worst movies I've seen this year, Dre. But if you want to see it, I say wait till it comes out on cable or something. Don't even waste your time to see this on big screen, unless you just genuinely want to see how much of a colossal failure this movie is. But last thing I'll say, I guess you just have to drink like not even 2 beers. You got to drink 4 beers to appreciate this movie, Trey. Other than that, though, inebriated on that, skip this movie.